So we started with that, study each topic, treated 10 times to get an excellent grade. Any course you are pursuing, you have to do well to study or take at least a lesson or topic, either face-to-face or online lecture 10 times before the examination. That's very important. Let me see if I can mute you. Good. So that is what to me here. So you need to either face-to-face or online lecture. You need to go to that particular topic at least 10 times. You need to take note of that. It's very, very important. Good. And the next point is that you have to organize. You have to organize yourself. You have to organize yourself. You have to organize yourself. There is this quotation I want us to take note, that the well-organized, neat-appearing individual will usually get the nod over another incapable person who is disorganized and careless in appearance. That is the source. Benedict. So if you don't organize yourself, you don't plan, there is no way you can do well academically or in life. Whatever you are doing, you need to organize yourself, you need to prepare, and then do well. You do then definitely you do well. If you don't prepare, you don't organize yourself, you cannot do well. There is a saying that if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. If you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. So you don't have to do things haphazardly. Anyhow, we shouldn't do things haphazardly. Anyhow, you need to plan very well. And once you plan whatever you are doing, then definitely you do well. When you get to the day of the examination, when you get to the exams hall, exams room, don't rush to start writing. We shouldn't start just writing. Don't rush. Once we just see the question, oh, it has dropped, this question has come. Charlie, the question has come, then you start writing. We don't do that. If you do that, you will not do well. Don't rush to start writing. You have to prepare. We need to prepare. Just as I said, if you fail to plan, if you fail to prepare, then you are preparing to fail. So you don't have to rush to start writing. Prepare before you write. And once you know that you are well prepared, you are prepared very well, then you organize your points, point by point, systematically, orderly. Introduction. Do I need to write this? So no, I have to bring it to the body. When it comes to explanation, I bring it to the body. When it comes to conclusion, this is what I have to talk about. Once you do that, then you definitely do well. You definitely do well. So you should know, organize your points, point by point, and then arrange them orderly, sequentially, or chronologically. Don't write haphazardly. You don't see whether it's introduction, is the body, or conclusion. The examiner will not be there to explain to the examiner that this is what I mean by writing, you're putting this here. It's like building. You are putting up a story building or building. Every building must have a foundation. And then before you start laying the blocks, that is how it's supposed to be in writing. In writing, or particularly essay writing and essay or composition, it's just like putting up a building. You need to start very well. You have to organize very well and do that accordingly. That is what you mean. And then you need to understand verbs. What I mean by verb, it's not just saying that a verb is just a doing word or something. We have specific verbs. Some verbs that may demand specific answers. Specific verbs demanding specific answers. The way you should handle will be different. We need to know those verbs. A verb like explain, analyze, describe, okay, criticize, assess, examine, outline. These are the verbs you need to know them. So let's go through few of them. Once you know the meaning of some of the verbs, then you proceed, you continue writing. That is what you mean here. So don't forget, don't write to start writing. Prepare very well. Organize your points. You have to understand certain verbs or keywords in that particular course, in the question, okay, before you start writing. Before you start writing. That is what we mean. Good. So understand the following verbs in essay test questions. An example, we have analyze. Analyze here means you have to break into separate parts and discuss. Once you see a question like analyze, it means you need to break into separate parts and discuss. So you can see that the way analyze, to analyze, or the verb to analyze, you can even see discuss there. You can also see examine there. And you can as well see interpret. So once you have a question, analyze the course of so and so. Analyze the steps of this. Think of what? Think of what? Discussing, examining, and interpreting. Once you understand it that way, definitely you get the full marks. But when you say analyze, and then you just stating the points, 1, 2, 3, what are you analyzing? You have analyzed nothing here. You have analyzed nothing. So you need to understand that. And then compare. Sometimes you can have a question, compare this to that. Or you may be compare and contrast. It's also there. I recently gave a presentation on comparing and contrasting false prophets and genuine prophets in Ghana or in Africa as a whole. So you can even find that topic. I think it's even on YouTube. Yes, comparing and contrasting. When you say compare, compare here is asking you to do 2 things or more. You have to identify similarities, okay, and differences. Compare, and normally comparison is about similarities, and contrast is about all differences, these similarities. That is why you should take note of. So contrast is showing differences, okay, or set in opposition in the work. And then we have criticize. You can take note of that, and then you know exactly what you have to do. So in short, what I want you to know is that when you say criticize, examine, analyze, means you have to do specific things. Essay writing. Don't just start by stating them. You do that, you definitely not do well. But if you have define, give the meaning. When they define the genesis of MPP and NDC. Define the cause of what 2012 election petition or whatever. Or explain. Then it means you have to do specific things. All right, so let's continue. And then we have describe. Describe here means you have to give a detailed account, make a picture of words. Okay, list the qualities, the description. Once I can say, describe your parents, describe yourself. It means you have to give vivid picture, description of whatever you know about the person. That is what you mean by this, the description here. You have to describe. You have descriptive essay. So that comes under descriptive essay. We have discuss, consider, and debate, okay, the argument, the pros and cons, okay, of an issue. Once you come across a question, discuss. It means you have to consider and debate. It's highly debatable here. When you say discuss, it means you are debating, you are arguing. It becomes like an argumentative essay. An argumentative essay here. You have to debate, argue the pros and cons of an issue or a phenomenon. That is what you mean here. And then you write about any conflict, if there is any conflict, any divergent point or convergent point, you need to point it out. That is what you mean by discuss here. So you enumerate here, you list several ideas. So you have to understand the students as university students. What I mean is that you need to understand them very well. You need to understand all this. They are not just there for being sake. When you say discuss, enumerate, evaluate, for instance, evaluate. You have evaluation even in teaching and learning. Evaluation means like assessment. Okay, you have to know the level of somebody, whether it's good or not. Give your opinion or cite the opinion of an expert. That is what we mean by evaluate. And then you include evidence to support your evaluation. That because of this and that, I think that is the meaning of this. It's very, very important. Try and understand all this. Whatever course you are doing here, just as I started by saying, this particular presentation is not just for French or English. It's for all courses that you are pursuing in the university, right from archaeology to zoology, right from archaeology to zoology. You may be in the IT faculty, engineering faculty, or whatever, IT business, you need to know that. You may be in the humanities, you need to know all that. Because whatever discipline, whatever course you are pursuing in the university, you one day come across some of these verse or questions here, and you need to know exactly how you have to go about it. Good. So that is it. You have to outline here. That what I will say about outline, when you come across the word outline, it doesn't mean just to give an outline. For instance, write a Roman numeral. No, that is not the mean. It means describe main ideas or points here. Okay, the characteristics, the events. Okay, does not necessarily mean write a Roman numeral. Try and understand that, or letter outline, and then you prove a point by her supporting with facts. Okay, especially facts presented in class or in the test. Okay, you know the course that you have been doing. If the engineering lecturer, the particular course that you did, and then the person said prove that they said, then you try and then try and recall, try and see, cast your mind at when you were in class discussing a particular topic. What are the points that you can use to support your argument? And once you do that, you'll be able to do very well in that particular exam. And the next one, you have to state. When it's about stating, it means you have to explain precisely, concisely. You have to give a vivid explanation. That is what you mean here. Explain, state. State is not just maybe just saying the law of so and so, and then that is the end. You can state particular principle or particular law, and then you explain. That is the meaning here. That is it. Sometimes you take state and explain. If you don't see state and explain, it means that you state it, and then you need to as well explain the point. Not just stating and you leave it like that, hanging. You won't get all the points. That's the fact. Don't forget that. And finally, summary. We just continue. Trace, you should understand. You know a summary. Give a brief, condensed account. Include conclusions. Avoid unnecessary details or examples. Summary, in summary, we don't normally give examples. Okay? We don't give a lot of examples, illustration. Like you give the summary of it. You have to be concise and precise. You have to go straight to the point. You don't have to beat about the bush, saying all sort of unnecessary things. You don't have to do that. Go straight to the point. Give a vivid summary of it. That will talk about the whole issue of phenomenon. Once you do that, then you will definitely get all the points that you need to get in that particular examination. And the next we have to consider is peruse. After we have done all that, now you start writing. You have finished writing. When you finish writing, you need to have a vigorous perusal of your script. When you are done with the write-up, you have finished writing, you need to have a vigorous perusal of your write-up. It means you have to read through the write-up, the script very well, and you have to scrutinize it. Scrutiny here means you have to mark yourself, self-assessment. You have to check subject-verb agreement. You have to check spelling mistakes. You have to check errors. You have to check omissions, okay, of words, sentences. You need to do that. We shouldn't just rush. Once you are done, then you submit the script without marking yourself or assessing your work. You have to scrutinize your work very well before submission. Once you do that, then you can confidently say you are done with the work, you have finished writing, and you can submit it. So go through the work, don't rush. Always apportion time to every question that you have to answer in the examination. You have to know every question. I'm going to devote 5 minutes or 10 minutes to this particular question. You don't have to spend 30 minutes answering a particular question simply because you have all the points, you know everything about the question. Once you do that, you get 20 marks, and then the other questions you are getting 5 over 10, 2 over 10, 10 over 15. Definitely you will not do well. You will not get all the marks. You will not do well in that particular exam. So what you mean is that you have to treat every question important. Know that every question in the examination is very, very important. If you have to answer 4 questions or 3 questions, all questions may be given equal time, apportion equal time here. And you study, you take your time, you read through after you have finished writing and submit the script. Once you do that, you will be able to balance the equation and do well in your essay writing test. That is what we mean here. So now let's move on. We are concluding. Then you start asking questions, recommendations. You know, this particular presentation is actually devoted to our Francophone learners or international students at Ghana Technology University College. We have Francophone students who come to Ghana Technology University College who have been studying all their courses, all subjects in French. Now they come to Ghana to study all courses in English. Definitely they will face some difficulties or learning difficulties or challenges here. So what we want to propose is that, personally, I've witnessed it before, not just once, several times, where I'll be vigilating, and then a Francophone learner or student will call me, say, what does this mean? Can you explain this to me in French? Yes, we shouldn't deny them of that right. They may not understand it because they have not been doing all the courses in English here, just as some of Anglophone students have been doing right from nursery or creche or KG, 1, 2, 3, up to the tertiary level. Every course, every subject, you are being taught in English. They have been doing everything in French. So the point we want to put across, the suggestion is that it will be highly crucial that when it comes to Francophone students, if possible, we have to translate essay type questions from English to French. From English to French for Francophone students. If you do that, I think it will help them very much. And the difficulty Francophone students face in comprehending, examination questions in Ghana, you see. So just as I said, definitely they face a lot of difficulty. So Francophone students studying all courses in English in Anglophone countries, definitely it will be a challenge or a problem to them. Definitely it will be a challenge or problem to all of them, that all of them need to know and move on accordingly. That's what we mean. Good. So we have to also know that learning must be a lifestyle. Whether you're a Francophone learner or Anglophone learner, you have to make learning as lifestyle. And you should know lifestyle. There are certain things that you cannot avoid every day. For instance, brushing your teeth. Can you avoid it? Can you avoid brushing your teeth? Can you avoid visiting ladies or gents? Can you avoid taking bath? Taking your bath every day, can you avoid that? No, you cannot avoid it. So you have to also know that just as you cannot avoid taking your bath, just as you cannot avoid eating, just as you cannot avoid drinking water, okay? Not just drinking, no, so that you think taking alcoholic beverage, no, but drinking water. You cannot avoid it. You cannot live without water. The same vein as students. If you know you are a student, you should never live without reading a day. Learning should be your lifestyle. And once you do that, you can say that you are a student and not a mere partaker or participant of school activities. If you are a student and you don't learn, you don't study as lifestyle, then you are just a mere partaker of school activities or programs. And you shouldn't be just a participant or a partaker of school activities. You need to be a doer. You need to be studious and serious students in whatever you do as a student. And the last point is, no, knowledge comes from learning. This is a quotation. You can see that it's in quotes here. Knowledge comes from learning. And I hope you may know something about this expression. Can somebody comment on that? Okay, so can somebody comment on that? Knowledge comes from learning. Can somebody tell us the source of that expression? The source of this expression, knowledge comes from learning.
Yeah, sir.
Again?
Please, I would like to try.
Yes, go ahead.
It's evident that no one is born okay with wisdom. Can you hear me, sir? Please, can you hear me?
I didn't get you. Can you repeat? Can you
I'm
repeat?
saying that
Yes.
Yes, I'm saying that no one is born with wisdom.
Yes, yes.
Knowledge. Okay, so it is true that we are born knowledge.
Good.
That is why it is very important that we learn if we want to acquire knowledge.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Good. So, good. So
That's my submission.
good, good. Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
That's
Thank
good.
you.
Good. Yes. Any other comment on that? So what is the source of knowledge comes from learning? Do you know the source of knowledge comes from learning? Knowledge comes from learning. Can somebody tell us the source? Do you know the motto of Ghana Technology University College? I hope you all know the motto of Ghana Technology University. Isn't it? Good. This is your own motto. The motto of Ghana Technology University is what? Knowledge comes from learning. Knowledge comes from learning. Knowledge comes from learning. It means if you don't know and you learn, you will definitely what? Know. But you don't know and you don't learn, can you know?
Oh, no.
Yes. So I love the motto of Ghana Technology University College so much. I love this motto. It's very, very crucial that no, it's an undeniable fact. Nobody can refute this assertion that knowledge does not come from learning. Knowledge comes from learning. Nobody can refute it. So you don't know and you learn, you will know. But if you don't know and you don't learn, there is no way that you can know. So my beloved students, all learners, we are all students actually, we are all learners. If you don't know something and you don't learn it, there is no way that you can know. No prophet can help you to know. Don't go and let somebody deceive you that as you are going to write a exam, bring me your pen or writing material. I will pray over it. And then the book, when you just get there, just cover it, put your pen on it. Everything will be filled. Never be deceived. Nobody can help you do that. Knowledge comes from learning. Once you don't know and you learn, you will definitely know it. You know it, and you will definitely do well. So that is the end of our discussion. If you have questions, you have comments, you are permitted to do so. So all submissions are welcome. All comments. If you have questions, you are permitted to do so as well.
Okay, merci. Merci.
So if you have questions, you are permitted to ask or comments.
Network is very bad. Can you hear me, Mr.?
Yeah, yes, go
Hello,
ahead.
good evening, Mr. Sebri.
Hello, good evening.
Okay.
Please, I just joined. I wanted to ask, how are we going to write the exam?
When you finish with this presentation, all my students, I want you to just stay behind maybe for about 10 minutes and we discuss, okay?
Okay.
So right now, ask questions on the presentation. When you are done with that, then you have more discussions on other issues or general discussions.
Okay, okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Welcome. Yes. Hello. Your line is breaking. Can you check where you are? Can you check your position where you are standing, where you are right now, so that I can hear you well? Not so well. Restart, please.
Okay, presenting on the Perusia.
You said it's on what?
On the presentation on Perusia, the slides.
The slide on
Perusia.
This one?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes, if I listen to you carefully, you explain that we shouldn't rush on submitting our works during examination, that we should read thoroughly and assess ourselves and show the words that we have used before doing submission. But my comment here is that, Mr. Hilary,
yes, I can hear you.
Okay, my comment here is that since examination is limited to time, I think it is limited to time.
Yes.
You know, the pressure that comes with it and doesn't allow us to, have the time to read the that is if and only you are done before time. But in those cases, you realize that students are always behind time. So it is very difficult to go read thoroughly and then before you do submission. So that is a problem there.
Okay, good. But just as I said, what you need to do is that anytime you are writing any essay type question, don't devote so much on a particular question. That is the point I was trying to say. And you shouldn't rush. We shouldn't write to submit without going through. You have to know that now you have 2 hours within which to finish the whole paper or exam. And you have to answer about 4 questions. You have to see how best each question, maybe 20 minutes, to finish writing each question so that you can have about 10 minutes or more for the perusal to go through, to examine it. Because if you don't do that, my brother, just an omission of an article can make you fail. Just an omission of an article if you don't know. Sometimes will be say, oh, I was rushing, I was far behind time. So if you do that, my brother, just an omission can let you fail. Because if there's an omission, you should have put an article or there or come there. You know the spelling of come, but the come is not there. So he's giving a different meaning altogether to examiner. Can the examiner give you the point or the mark? No, you get the point. So this particular aspect, even if you must answer 4 questions, and you can even answer 3 questions thoroughly, very well, and go through without answering the 4th question, you will pass, you do well. That is what most students don't know. But one particular question, you want to spend an hour or 60 minutes. Meanwhile, you have 2 hours for 4 questions, and you are spending 60 minutes for one particular question. Definitely, you will not do well. So you have to know that you are answering 4 questions. Now, each question, let's assume 25 minutes. So you should have a wristwatch. You should have a wristwatch. I know you are not allowed to enter the exam hall with your phones, but get a wristwatch. So where you can check, you can time yourself. Once it's time, you know that you are spending 25 minutes. Stop it and move on to the next one. And then you continue in that order. When you finish, then you go back. At the time that you devote for Perusa, you can check all these points and you will be able to do well. So never make a mistake by saying that I couldn't finish, I was far behind time, so I couldn't reach you. If you do that, my brother or my sister, I'm afraid it will never help you. So never do that. Students have been doing that right from secondary school up to this level. Never do that. Do well to stop somewhere along the line and read through the script before you submit any course, any subject that you are doing or pursuing at the university level. Once you do that, I hope you'll be able to do well. Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Yes, madam.
Thank you very much for this. I just want to
madam.
add a little to the perusing.
Okay.
And I think it all comes with planning right from the beginning.
Yes.
Planning before, during the exam. Now let me jump in here with the planning during the exam. You've been given a question. What is it? A paper to answer questions on. Now, if you have said 3 hours for 5 questions, you read through all the questions and then look at which ones you can answer. Maybe you are attempting 4 questions, or say 3 questions out of 5, and you have 3 hours. You apportion your time to each question, and then leave some minutes for reading and then corrections. So that right from the beginning, if say you are answering 3, maybe 4 questions, and then you have 3 hours, you divide it, and then leave maybe a quarter of your time for just reading through and then correcting. Now, first, before you start, I believe that if you can jot down all the points that are salient to each and every question, say number 1, all the questions you want to list under question 1, the questions that you, the points that you want to, write on each question. Now plan it in that way. Every question lists the points. Even before you start writing, when you do it that way, and just like Sir said in the course of your presentation, you mentioned that students must plan and not devote so much time to one question. No matter how knowledgeable you are in that field or on that question, try to devote your time so that you don't waste too much time on a question. Otherwise, because one question will not give you a good mark.
Yes, exactly.
You have to really devote your time.
Yes.
So once you apportion your time like that, then you can go in and then answer the questions without any rushing. Now, one student asked that exams, that is why they are exams. You will be constrained with time. But once you apportion your time, you will be able to write on all of the questions.
Yes.
And sometimes even have much time. So it all boils down to planning your time from the beginning.
Good.
Now, I'll pause for now. I don't know if
all right.
Maybe there's something to add.
All right. We thank our director for that excellent submission. That is our director for Language Center, Mrs. Agnes Kwashi. Thank you, madam, for that submission. Okay, question. If you have more questions, you can ask, please. Do you have more questions or comments? Does it mean everything is well understood? So if you are here and you don't have a list of baffling questions, does it mean that you have really understood this presentation? We shouldn't forget that in this presentation, we did mention that once you really go through a course, you should have a list of baffling questions to ask your lecturer or a colleague. Do you remember that? Good. So don't you have a list of baffling questions for the presenter or for the house?
No, don't ask a baffling question.
It means everything is clear. All right. If that is the case, can you call it a day? But we have to come back. I promise having a discussion with some students, and then those of you, if you are not also, you sure you have a question, then we come back and continue, and okay, so that we can conclude. So if you have questions.
Hello, sir.
Hello, madam.
Yeah, maybe just a little again on the preparation before the exam day.
So, excuse me, madam, it's about to end. So can you come back and then you conclude it? I wish we could end and come back before. If you start, you may not be able to end it.
Okay.
I've seen that we have less than a minute.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So do well
so
to come back and then conclude on whatever.
Okay, so we can come back